Are you struggling to build wealth because you don't have the right partnerships? Let me tell you what, real estate is not just an investment in a piece of property, it's actually an investment into relationships. You most often need to have relationships in order to be a successful real estate investor in some capacity. So without that, you're going to struggle to get off the ground. And those key relationships are really going to help you build into something bigger. But a lot of investors that are just getting started off, they struggle to build wealth in real estate because they don't know where to find those relationships and they don't know where they exist. And then once they get them, how to maintain them, because that's a big part of it as well. I'll tell you what, I faced the same challenge initially. It was very difficult for me to figure out who I was going to partner with, especially on my second go around. But I was able to figure it out, and now I've been in this partnership for 6 years with Michael and Drew, which has been fantastic. So going solo is really tough. It's one of the harder things that you can do. You can figure it out, but getting to scale up, especially if you're trying to add investors into the mix, it's going to be really tough without those relationships. So think about this. Everybody runs out of money at some point. It doesn't matter how wealthy you are. At some point, you can't buy any more real estate yourself. So you're going to run out of money. So you have to get partners. And there's different types of partners. So there's partners on the LP side where they're investing into your deals, and then there's general partners. Those are people that are working the operation with you. And if you're trying to run a syndication business, you actually need both. So I see a lot of people that are going out there and they're not really sure how to formulate these partnerships. And the issue with that is if you form the wrong one, you're not going to be able to enhance and move forward with your wealth creation because there's going to be roadblocks along the way with your partnerships. So key to this is if you can get into a network of people that are like-minded in real estate, you can start to sift through and find people you might want to work with. That could be involving yourself in a mastermind, going to RIA events, going to conferences, things like that will allow you to meet other people and start to build relationships on the side with different people. There are people out there that take energy from you, and there are people out there that give you energy. And so you want to find the people that give you energy, and those are the ones that you want to consider partnering with. A big mistake that I see people making also is they go to these events and they start to find multiple people like that, and then they all get together in a big pool of partners, and then they go and buy real estate, which is fine, except you need to have specific roles and responsibilities. But a lot of times these groups, they don't do that. They just all jump in on a deal. One person leads the charge, the other people just kind of figure out what they're going to do, and it doesn't really work out that well. The other mistake that I see people making is they'll go and partner with friends or family that they equally know nothing about real estate, just like the person that started it. And so they ended up just spinning in circles without any specific skill sets. You want to find partners that are complementary to your skill sets. So if you're the deal finder, you want to find someone that is the underwriter, or you want to find someone that is the money raiser, somebody that complements your skills so they can do something different than what you're doing. That's going to be super important. If you're both doing the same thing, the issue with that is you're going to butt heads, you're going to not see things the same way, and it could blow your partnership. And I've been in partnerships that have been unsuccessful and successful, and I can tell you that having clear roles and responsibilities and following those, and if even better, if it's in your genius zone, then it will be successful most likely. Now, there's going to be headwinds along the way, just like anything. But if you can stick to open communication with your partners, that's going to be a lot easier. So that's how you can find your partners. But once you get into the partnership, you have to be able to maintain it. And so maintaining it requires frequent meetings with your partners, alignment meetings, understanding the direction you want to go, agreeing on everything, and moving forward. And you should be involving your partners in every major decision that goes on so that everybody's making the same decision. So think about this. If one partner, let's say there's three partners, one partner goes out and makes a unilateral decision without involving the other two, and then that decision leads them into a bad situation, it's going to cause friction between the partners. And so if that's like a high level decision that really should be brought up between everyone agrees on the situation, and then you move forward, that's the best way to do it. So early on, Michael, Drew, and I, we had a very tough deal that we were trying to raise money for, and we couldn't quite get there. It was our first deal together. And on that deal, we actually talked about every major stage of the process, whether we were going to extend, whether we were going to negotiate this or negotiate that. Any major step we talked about. So when the deal did blow up and we lost our earnest money, we didn't want to kill each other. So the key to that was that open communication, consistently talking about everything, agreeing on things, and then moving ahead. Sometimes you're going to have a disagreement, and if there is a disagreement, it's up to one side or the other to try to convince that other person that to side with them as much as possible, and then you have to come up with a way to make that decision moving ahead. It doesn't serve anyone at all if you have somebody using their power or whatever to make unilateral decisions, because then it just pisses off the other people that are in the partnership. So that's a really key thing that you have to pay attention to when you're inside of a partnership as well. The greatest thing about being in a partnership is that you're able to pool resources. So you can, if you have a big deal, you want to do, let's say by yourself, you could do maybe $1 million deal, but with two partners, you can do a $5 million deal. Well, the $5 million deal, it requires earnest money, it requires upfront capital, it requires time. A lot of those things can get split up evenly throughout the partnership. And so that is something that is really helpful. Not everybody wants to put up a large amount of earnest money by themselves. You have other people working it with you to get the deal done. You can also tag team investors and get new resources for investors and bringing them into deals, things like that only happen on a partner level. There are your employees that do a really good job, and you should have those employees to help take you out of the day-to-day. But at the end of the day, there's also partnership related activities and decisions that have to be made on a high level. And so having a partner to run ideas off of and bounce them off of can be very helpful when you're doing so. So making sure that you guys finally have trust. Trust is going to be a major factor when it comes to maintaining a partnership. So building that trust, don't make unilateral decisions, bring each other on board, have open and very honest communications, very tough decisions and tough conversations as well. The tough ones are the most important conversations to have. If something's bugging you that they're doing or vice versa, you need to have those tough conversations to lay it out there so that you're able to move past it. It's just, partnerships are just like a marriage. So you have to maintain that marriage sometimes through therapy. And there are ways to do that in a partnership as well. Those are ways to see our blind spots, to listen to each other, and to work forward. So I would say that the latest deal that we did, and all the deals that we've done, we were successful in it because we had partnerships, a partnership. And so Michael and Drew are my partners. I could not have purchased the Overlook Apartments deal that we just did without them as my partners. And it was well structured. We all knew how we were going to accomplish getting this thing across the finish line, who was finding the deal, who was going to the deal, do due diligence, who was going to help raise the equity. All those things were set out, and we combined our resources and expertise to get that done. So we were able to buy that. So right now is one of the best times that you can invest in multifamily real estate. There's strong fundamentals in the market. Prices are way down from the peak in March of 2022, and cap rates are blown way out. So this is an amazing time to get in. If you'd like to learn more about how you can get involved, reach out to us, nighthawkequity.com, set up a call, and reach us that way so that we can get you into a deal that's going to make you a lot of money, hopefully. So with that, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next time.